Hello and good afternoon, everybody. We are going to talk today about plants and stress management. So, as we learned last week, there are 6 categories of stress that we can experience and 6 areas of life that we want to be thriving in. And one of those areas is environmental health, and therefore we want to be managing and paying attention to our environmental stress. I've quoted here a famous line, and one of my favorites, from Love Actually. If you look for it, I've got a sneaky feeling that you'll find that stress is actually all around. In the movie, it's love, and they're in the airport, if you recall. But the same goes for stress. Stress is everywhere, right? In our environment, and the stress in our environment and our environments as they are really do shape our health. So right now, as you're sitting there, I want you to perform what we call an environmental audit. And what that means is look at your space and what do you see in your immediate space that is causing you stress. Also, look in your space and see what is in your immediate space that is bringing you peace and happiness. And what you're going to want to do is try to eliminate the things that are causing you stress and bring more of the things that are bringing you peace and happiness. So one thing that can definitely bring you more peace and happiness are houseplants. I know this sounds silly, but it's actually true, and there are studies to back it up. We spend 85% of our days, the hours of our days, are spent indoors. It's a lot of time inside, and we just weren't really built to be inside for quite that long. So studies have shown that living near green spaces or spending time in nature or gardens can improve our mood, can reduce the negative effects of stress, encourages physical activity, will improve our cognition, reduce aggression, and enhance our overall well-being. This is especially true for those of us who are dealing with techno stress, which is basically computers in our spaces and handheld devices, smartphones, which are increasing the stress of our environments. Studies have shown that just having plants in our immediate environment, the environment we can see, can reduce our stress, reduces symptoms of depression, improves memory retention, has lessened or people have shown fewer symptoms of PTSD and ADHD, both from having more plants in their environments. This is especially true for students. Higher productivity and concentration, more creativity, fewer symptoms of dementia, higher intellect, better self-esteem, and overall better quality of life. One theory about why this is called the biophilia hypothesis. And what that hypothesis is basically that humans possess an innate tendency to seek connections with nature and other forms of life. The literal translation is love for life or love of life. And this is a form of architecture or workplace interior design is where this is being used the most. And what it means is basically bringing nature into your living space, into your buildings, into your offices. And that has been shown to increase productivity by up to 15%, reduces stress, as we just talked about, includes better health and well-being, fewer sick days for employees, reduced noise level, and boost creativity. So there are a lot of benefits to having plants in your workspace, especially. So in addition to just being able to see the plants, interacting with plants has been shown to have huge impacts and huge positive impacts on people who are especially working with computers. This is a study that was performed in 2015 where they looked at 24 young men and compared their physiological responses when working on computers to their physiological responses when they were working with plant-related tasks, meaning repotting or watering or fertilizing, moving around their plants. So the results were that the feelings during the transplanting tasks or working with the plants were different from their feelings they were experiencing working on the computer. And pretty much across the board, the people in the study reported feeling more comfortable, soothed, and natural when they were working with plants. They also showed lower blood pressure after working with the plants, and that their heart rate variability was higher. So this is especially important, I think, for all of us working with computers all day, as well as some of us with children who may be overstimulating themselves with computers and gaming activities. So since that study brought up heart rate variability, I figure this is as good a time as any to talk about what that means. Heart rate variability measures the variance in time between heartbeats while you are asleep or resting. It's an indicator of how well our autonomic nervous system is handling our combined mental, emotional, and physical stress on a day-to-day basis. So upward trends in your heart rate variability are going to show improved fitness and overall health. Downward trends can be due to overtraining, lack of sleep, or stress. This is especially true of chronic stress and anxiety. It's going to show up in lower heart rate variabilities. So these can be tracked on most heart rate monitors or tracking applications, including the Apple Watch will show you your heart rate variability. The Whoop will show you heart rate variability. It's one indicator in a whole lot of indicators that go into determining your overall health. But it is an important one to keep track of, especially because it is looking specifically at how your body and your autonomic nervous system are recovering and working well together. And it is an indicator of not just physical fitness and physical stress, but also your emotional well-being and your mental, overall cognitive well-being as well. So if you are going to use houseplants in order to help with your workspace and your emotional, physical, and cognitive health, these are 10 houseplants that are difficult to kill. They may not bloom again. In case of orchids, they're hard to get to bloom again, but they are hard to kill. So these would probably be great places to start if you're looking for a houseplant for you or your kiddos. And finally, here are a few care tips to help you make sure that your plants are thriving and they are doing their best to help you to thrive as well. You want to spin your plants around every week so they grow evenly. I also like to move mine to different locations in my office or my home. Cut off brown bits of leaves that are starting to dry off, either from where your cat has been eating them, that's what happens at my house, or for other reasons. Cut the brown bits off by following the shape of the leaf. You want to dust your leaves on the plants so that they can not get bogged down with the dust and the dust mites. So you can do that either by using a wet cloth and painstakingly caring for them, or the way I like to do it is I put them all in the shower and just run the shower on them. And that's good for them too, because it gives them some natural movement that they may not be receiving every day in your normal home environment. If you're going to be gone for a while or are worried about how much you need to water them, this is a great little tip. You can take an empty wine bottle, fill it with water, and then turn it upside down into the soil of the plant, and it will water it for you gradually as you go through the week. And the only thing you have to do is just keep an eye on it. You also want to make sure that you're adding fertilizer every day, not every day, sorry, every so often, so that your plants can have new nutrients and new things to help them grow. And you want to water them enough, but not too much. So what's that sweet spot for watering? If you just stick your finger into the soil, if it's moist, you don't need to worry about it. If it's dry, they need water. So I hope that I have convinced you all to get a new houseplant and experiment with them in your life. They are so much fun and they are beautiful to look at and they will make you happy. And there's so many different varieties that you can just get lost and it can become your newest obsession. So next steps, go water your plants and then check in with me if you want the one-on-one coaching like we talked about. Next week, we will be diving into the world of books and bibliotherapy and how that can help manage our stress and well-being. And finally, send me any comments, questions, concerns, and we will get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you.